And thank you very much. And we're going to say, let's see, obrigado por se juntar danos, which I believe, thank you for joining us. We'll have to translate that a little bit later. But Tatiana, Weston-Webb, Silvana Lima into the lineup, and they're already on the clock, just 30 seconds into it. The playing field is bigger than ever compared to this morning, and a lot of wind on it. But Tatiana, Weston-Webb, Silvana Lima, it's their job.
But the waves have picked up a little bit. We expected that swell to rise and the wind to rise. And here we go, Savannah Lima opening up her account, Dave.
Yeah, she gets on this wave immediately, and she has the most to lose here. She is 13th on the World Tour. You want to be in the top 10, and 19th in the QS after only 3 events. She needs big results because there's not enough QS events for her to qualify through that. So this is a do-or-die event right here with the next 2 coming up. She needs a good result. Silvana Lima.
Here we go. This is her first wave of this round 2 matchup with Tatiana Weston-Webb. Tries to find something of consequence here. Doesn't like what she had on offer, so she kicks out of that one.
It's got a lot of history, intrigue, and beauty. We take a look at the inside. On her forehand, going for a closeout. And a big move. What a surprise right there. She gets enough juice to hit off the top. Now she's trying for an inside reform. Silvana Lima making something happen here and over the chop. Remember, 3 swells running. And this one continues to pick up this northwest swell. And she's looking at a speed run to the inside. She's going to have to go on her backhand. And connects the dots right there. Doesn't ride out of it. Now, she's not being deducted, but she won't get rewarded for maybe falling right there.
Yeah, you can tell that Silvana was just trying to connect the sections like you mentioned. We'll have a look at the replay, but a bigger wave there from her. But you can tell with more push in the tide, more push in the swell, it's giving her that speed to make it through those flat sections.
Interesting to see what her score is going to be. Out the back with first priority, Tatiana, Gunnemaras, Weston-Webb.
Quick maneuver there from Silvana Lima. That's really all the point opportunity that she found on that outside section. Really trying to bring this one through, doing that hop onto the inside, staying busy, just negotiating those big chops through the face of the wave. Cuts back. She's looking for this option on the inside. It really does get quite treacherous on that inside bank. It comes up quite fast. As you watch her maneuvering to her backhand and trying to negotiate that inside, she gets swept off her feet by the whitewater monster.
And from this water angle, you can see how aggressive she is.
She's looking hungry and sharp. I mean, she's had some really questionable results the last few events. She needs to advance, like you mentioned, if she wants to keep her World Championship dreams alive, to stay on this tour for next year and, you know, just keep progressing and not have to revert to the qualifying series. I like this water angle here. You can just see with what they're dealing with as competitors. I mean, you know, it's so easy to sit from that kind of bird's eye view as we watch Tatiana Weston-Webb.
Tatiana Weston-Webb, and, you know, not only with the 3 swells running and some at different intervals, you might have a little bit of backwash, but you've got that wind chop as well, and it is just a roller coaster ride of, in motocross they call it whoop-de-doo.
Almost looks like camis on the inside there.
You know what reminds me of a windy day at like Ocean Beach, the power and the big open ocean. Here we go, nice snap for Tatiana Weston-Webb, and the goofy footer, yes, picking off those lefts, and sees there's no reform possibility of scoring more points to the inside. So start off with a half-point ride, just hands left the rail, so it'll count as a score, then a 1.50. Tatiana's wave number 3 at 2.07. And that is better than the second scoring wave for Silvana Lima, but if in fact she can hear our beach commentators, which is headed by the world-famous Nuno Jonet, who's been standard fixture in Hawaii for so many years and around the world, a man that speaks 4 or 5 different languages, up there working with a young Portuguese lady, Constance. You know, you can only paddle so fast, so you really got to pick and choose your spots out in the lineup. And this is interesting because Tatiana has now moved further north, while Silvana Lima has moved closer to the rocks. Tatiana Weston-Webb picks up this and going to use her priority, and some ways work out, some don't. Possibly going to get in there. So we might see a couple of new faces, and we'll see what happens. Keeley in 5th, and then Chelsea. Yeah, Barbados has got some beautiful surf. Leeward Islands of the Caribbean. Well, we take a look at the scores right now, and after 7 waves ridden, it is Silvana Lima in the lead with a 5.5 and a 1.60. So she's looking for a backup score. Tatiana's looking for something in that 5 range. She needs a 5.04 to overtake the lead. Now, 17 minutes on the clock. Lima Well, she's going to town on anything, and I was surprised she's looking at her backhand on that wave. She really likes the forehand, but here, Tatiana Weston-Webb, boy, they are struggling out there.
Yeah, it looks really tough to read the lineup at the moment.
Well, Silvana Lima from Rio, the beach breaks there. There is wind there. There's beach breaks. There's plenty of power. You'd think she would be fairly adept at these conditions. For Tatiana, always finding the perfect circle. All you have to do is circle around the island. You're going to find some place that's offshore and maybe some wind on the island of Kauai. So we'll see what happens here. And on her backhand, it looks like. Here we go. Beautiful move. Kind of easy. Releases the rail and sets the rail, generating some speed to the inside. Sometimes the biggest waves aren't the best, and Tatiana Weston-Webb working to the inside to score the points because the outside has just been chasing down the open face. She read something out the back. Really smart move. Here's Tatiana Weston-Webb going for the throat, and she can ride out of that.
I'm giving a clap for that last maneuver. I mean, just so well negotiated from her. I know she didn't have too much on the outside, but just the way that she just stayed persistent, stayed busy on her surfboard. I was pretty impressed with that last move.
Well, one key is that the wave prior to that kind of cleaned up the water on the inside, so it got fairly smooth.
And here we go, the replay of Tatiana Weston-Webb's last wave. You can see it didn't offer too much on the outside, but this is the part that gets so impressive. She just works that board back to forth. I think that's one of the new boards that she got at Lower Trestles. It looks so good under her feet, just able to climb through this flat section. She finds a bit of face to work with. She eyes off that section and just slams it off the top there, throws so much spray. And you can tell that she was pretty happy that all that work paid off.
Well, it is noontime here. We're continuous surfing competition, round 2, heat number 1, 13:30 remaining, and a score coming through that Tatiana Weston-Webb, you go out the back, not going to happen. To the inside, she delivered. Tatiana has now taken the lead, and how did she do it? How did she even find that wave? It was pretty amazing. Backup score, and you can see the way they are sitting in the lineup, looking to poach anything, is Silvana Lima, and here she goes. And again, on her backhand, she has been really wanting to do the forehand moves because of that, her forehand air reverse and her aerial skills, but the opportunity here as the tide fills in, you just outsurf your other competitor. Outsmart, outsurf.
Yeah.
That's how you survive the pro game.
Everyone's in the same boat.
As Tatiana Weston-Webb, wave number 7, gets a turn in out the back this time. Very smooth, and dealing with it as the wave kind of morphs, shapes, stands up, then disappears into deep water. Take a look. You're not sure where you're going to go. There's another section. And the infamous Huntington hop, she makes it to the inside. And a nice little wrap around there. And one more section to the inside sandbar. She says, nope, I'm over it. It looks a little crunchy. I'll tell you, she's reading the waves really well.
Her read on this wave is pretty impressive. I know we're going to get another look at it, but just the way she keeps that flow and momentum. You know, you talk about all the things that are apparent in the judging criteria, the speed, the power, the flow. She had it all in this wave as we watch her take off. She drops down to the bottom, has a little bit of a bobble there, but brings it around. She's been holding her rail so well on these maneuvers. Watch her bring that one around. You can see Silvana having a look at her surfing this wave from the back. She brings this one through. I like the way that she has the rail to rail. Just goes to the hop there and manages to make that through to the section, and then does one more little rail turn. Those quads would be burning after that exchange. You see her looking for something more on the inside, and I think it gets pretty shallow pretty fast on that section, so she kicks out. See the water angle here, swooping cut back into the rebound, brings this one around. You just see her able to work this one through. You see that wave, there's nothing on that wave, but she still manages to find a little something on the inside, brings this one through. You're going to see the spray out the back, and there it is, a fan of spray.
Surf good and have fun and do what you love.
Anything you want to say to friends and family and your Portuguese fans out there who are really looking forward to seeing you in this next heat?
Estamos aqui no bicho, o mar está bocado difícil, mas é dar tudo por tudo e dar o nosso melhor para surfar o nosso melhor.
Thanks so much for your time. We'll send it back to you, Dave.
And thank you very much. And Teresa and her coach, David Raimundo, were saying yesterday that the banks aren't normal. Okay.
Not always, but
you're like a warm weather snowboarder. With a 6.67 and a 5.73 on her last wave, Tatiana Weston-Webb is your leader. Silvana Lima looking to ditch a low score. She needs a 6.90. Our surfer in red has first priority. That's Tatiana. Well, you know what? We just saw Silvana Lima with second priority sitting there, and she's saying, hey, look, I am mad. I should have first priority. They gave it to her. So we saw Tatiana Weston-Webb give a concentrated paddle, and now Silvana Lima, well, with 2 paddles, she's on it, and she was not happy about that quick call in terms of priorities. So now she is committed with 1 minute and 13 seconds remaining. She needs a 6.90. Exciting stuff here, really stressful, and that is utter frustration right there for Silvana Lima. She's got about 15 seconds counting down. I hear Nuno Jonet in the background, big speakers going out, and unfortunately we are going to lose our first soldier here in round 2, heat number 1, and it is a 30-year-old veteran out of Rio de Janeiro going down to 19-year-old Tatiana Weston-Webb from Hawaii. And there it is, and when that horn sounds, it's time to pack your bags.
Exactly. I mean, I'm sure Tatiana would be feeling elated to get through that clash with Silvana Lima. I mean, Silvana Lima is our only surfer this year to get 10s, multiple 10s, one at Snapper Rocks, one at Bells Beach. So Silvana probably disappointed with an early exit in this contest.
Don't have the official results, but when they do, we'll give you the scores of that. But we know that our surfer, Tatiana Weston-Webb, has advanced.